Hi, I'm a forester here. What EDC would you carry if you knew you were going to get attacked by a pack of 4 pit bulls, full-grown adult pit bulls? Well, let me show you what I carried, because that happened to my wife and I tonight. I had my Boker Gentleman's Folder, Boker Elegance, and that's it, except for one other thing. My Ruger LCP, and it was in my right front pocket in its case. That was my EDC. Now, if I had known that I was going to be attacked, my wife and I attacked by 4 pit bulls, I would have probably carried more. Let me tell you about it. And we just got back from the walk, and I just called Animal Services. Of course, they were closed, and while I'm thinking about it, what good would it have done to call 911 when we're surrounded by 4 pit bulls? Now, we didn't get bit, and I'll go ahead and say that, but they were menacing. They had just been beaten off attacking another dog. They came out of nowhere. We normally go for a walk in the evenings after the sun's starting to set and it cools off a little bit. So that's what we were doing this evening. A lady was walking an old collie, and the 4 pit bulls came out of nowhere. I've never seen them before. They attacked the collie. A young fellow with a skateboard ran over and started swinging it, beating them off. When he beat them off the collie, then they turned, spotted us, and came running for us. My wife froze. Now, there was one other person around. He was a man with 2 children. One was a baby, an infant. He was in a playground, and he locked himself or shut the gate so that they couldn't get in the gate, so he was safe, and his children. We were out in the open. One of the pit bulls was more aggressive than the other. He didn't act playful in the least. He just stood there looking, growling, and waiting to attack. The other 3 were jumping against my wife. She was just standing there frozen. I immediately went for my gun. I didn't know, because the people were watching, whether to pull it out or not. I hesitated. And as it turned out, I made the right decision, I think. But if I had it to do over again, I would have pulled it out and had it at the ready. Because if one of those pit bulls had attacked, I don't know that I could have gotten it out of my pocket. You know, here's a Ruger LCP 380. Would a 380 take down a large pit bull? I think it would, but only if the shot was placed right. And when the adrenaline was pumping, I don't know that I could have placed it right, in the right spot. To make a long story short, the guy with the skateboard came up and was beating at the pit bulls with the skateboard. They were making such a commotion, the owners of the pit bulls came out of their house from across the street and started calling them. The lady whose dog had originally been attacked was trying to get away, and she was going up the sidewalk as fast as she could. When the pit bulls went toward their owner, 2 went to the owner, and 2 spotted the lady with the older dog and took off after her to attack the dog again. I took off running as fast as I could because I couldn't see what was happening, but it sounded like somebody was being attacked. When I got there about the same time as the owners, and the owners were yelling, "Don't act afraid. Don't act scared. They won't hurt you. Don't act scared. They won't hurt you." They were saying that over and over. Now let me ask you, why should you not act scared if the dogs were not going to attack? You're not supposed to act scared because they will attack. And a gang of 4 pit bulls can do some damage. Anyway, the owners got them under control. I talked to the owners and I told them I was going to call Animal Services. I was pretty hot, and I still am. This is the first time in probably 3 or 4 years that I felt like I needed the gun that I was carrying, and I'm glad I had this. I really am. Tonight could have turned out totally different than it did, and I am going to follow up with Animal Services tomorrow. But I don't know if I made the point yet or not. But if I had called, if I didn't have my cell phone with me, but if I had called 911, and actually the father of the infant, he did call 911 from inside the fence. I never saw any police. I never saw anybody. We were on our own, and that's the situation we talk about on here a lot, is when you need help, you only have yourself to depend on. The police aren't going to be there. So continue caring. Chances are you won't need it, but there's always a chance that you might. Y'all have a good night.